Steelers, consider others before you consider yourself. To protect your brother, even from himself. To give support at your own expense. And when wearing the black and gold suit of armor, make sure nobody desecrates it, disrespects it. Most importantly, we ourselves don't dishonor it. From previous legends who have donned the black and gold. These virtues I learned while playing for the Steelers are what make the legacy of the black and gold timeless. They are passed down in the locker room from the steel curtain to anyone who valiantly wears the black and gold. Creating a brotherhood that is deeper than money, business, and winning. To be a Steeler is to consider others before you consider yourself. This is our culture, Steeler culture.
Now, here are your hosts, Rob and Dan, the Steel Twins.
Steeltwins Nation, what is going on? Thank you guys for tuning in on this late Friday night for another edition of the Steeler Culture Podcast, where we break down Pittsburgh Steelers football. This edition of the Steeler Culture Podcast is powered by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino, and we are here to preview the Sunday night football matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets.
We got primetime football again, folks. Primetime, under the lights, Heinz Field, Steelers in the evening. Hopefully this time it's not delayed an hour and a half. I doubt it will be. There shouldn't be no storms coming around there, so
we should have checked the weather forecast beforehand.
It don't look like it's going to rain anytime soon.
Fingers crossed.
We got nothing to worry there.
Unless Mother Nature has another thing to say about it.
You never know. But it should be on as scheduled, and we got Aaron Rodgers heading to Heinz Field to face the Steelers for maybe the last time. Who will he be facing? What quarterback will be going up against him? We don't know. Mike Tomlin has yet to announce it. In fact, he has determined a starter. He has decided on a starter.
Yeah, so he knows. He knows. It's just the fact that he told reporters that he's going to keep it in-house. In-house, Tomlin.
So what's the, why wait to announce it?
Here's the way I see it. The depth chart hasn't changed. You gave Russell Wilson first-team reps. Just name your guy.
It's kind of obvious.
Just name your guy.
And George Pickens kind of spilled the beans while being interviewed literally 10 minutes after Tomlin said, yeah, we decided on a starter, but we're going to keep the decision to ourselves.
I guess Pickens didn't get the memo of Tomlin not wanting to tell the media who he is going to be starting at quarterback.
Listen, we all know who's going to be starting, man. We don't need to just, just theorize who's gonna start. We already know who it's going to be.
Yeah, we don't really need Tomlin to say who's going to be the starter. We already know it's going to be Russell Wilson. It's just the fact that Tomlin, considering it's week 7, just flat out say who you're going with, who you're riding with, no pun intended.
I don't know why he just doesn't name a starter.
I mean, he makes stuff so much more complicated. What's with all this trial and error? Just say it. Just come out and say, yeah, we're going with Russ.
Is he trying to catch the Jets off guard? Like, is he not confident in naming a starter? Why wouldn't you be confident
I don't know.
in a future Hall of Famer in Wilson and a quarterback that's been leading this team to 4-2 so far for the first 6 weeks of the season? Either way, I'd be proud with whoever's starting for this team right now because I feel like the Steelers are in a very good and rare position where they have 2 solid quarterbacks on the roster.
Yeah, it's not like last year. It's not like last year where I get if Tomlin was very uncertain because they were garbage. But this year, yeah, I mean, quarterback positions ramped up, it's changed, and you got 2 capable starting quarterbacks.
So when will he announce it? I guess we'll just have to wait and find out till Sunday night when we get the Steelers offense on the field and we wonder, who's going to be walking on the field with the team, with the first team? I don't know. Maybe that's when we find out. It'll most likely be announced right before the game. We already know who's going to start, and his name is going to be Russell Wilson. We'll get into the discussion of what he could bring to the table. Keep in mind, he is unofficially starting. That is just our opinion, and quite frankly, I think that's how it's going to go down eventually, is Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Justin Fields, the whole quarterback situation, and, of course, the Jets. The Jets are an interesting team, and the Jets are an interesting team heading into Sunday night. This isn't going to be an easy week like last week.
No, despite the Jets losing 3 games straight, they are still loaded with talent, and they added a hell of a weapon in Davante Adams. They got the A-Rod and Davante Adams chemistry back. So that's going to be exciting to go up against.
Davante Adams will be playing in Heinz Field, but not for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, again, Raiders, I find it very convenient timing that we blow you out in your own stadium and Steeler Nation takes over Allegiant Stadium, and then you're like, yeah, you know what, we'll trade Davante Adams.
That is
coincidentally to the Jets.
That's a gut punch. That is a gut punch if I've ever felt one by another team, dude.
Thanks, Mark Davis.
Really. We're gonna talk about, first of all, we want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. Appreciate you guys. There's a poll in the chat. Who wins, Steelers or Jets? So far, 62% of you guys say that the Steelers are going to win. So I feel confident about this game. I do, but I do have some concerns about many aspects of the team, mostly the defense. We'll get into all that, but thank you guys for joining us on another edition of the Steel Culture Podcast. We appreciate you guys. You guys already know our socials are in the ticker box below. They're also in the description box below, the links to our socials there. Same thing with the Spotify. If you guys want to listen to the audio version of this podcast, we are now on Spotify, so the link to that is in the description box. A huge shout out to BetUS Sportsbook and Casino for sponsoring today's live stream. I want to give a huge shout to them as we look at the betting lines for Week 7. It is Week 7 already in the NFL world. Week 7, we are 1/3 removed from the NFL season.
It's going by too quickly.
Or the regular season, at least. We have an awful game to wake up to at 9:30. We got the Patriots and Jags in London.
I am contemplating not watching that game.
I am not watching. I'm not even placing anything on this game because this is much like the Saints and the Broncos last night, just a lot more boring. No one cares for that. No one's getting up for that. But we do have all of the games here, all the money lines, all the spreads, all the over-unders. Of course, for the Steelers, man, they got Sunday Night Football. The Steelers are the underdog. The Steelers, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is the first time this year where they are listed as the underdog.
I mean, I'm not surprised by those odds, especially with the Davante Adams acquisition by the Jets there. I'm not surprised by that.
I find it weird because the Jets have lost 3 straight, and the Steelers are coming off a blowout victory, and they're at home in primetime under lights, and they're the underdog. Interesting. So if you guys feel the need to take that money line, if you like the Steelers odds, if you even like the Steelers spread, nonetheless, that's a safe way to go. If you guys want to put in your bids there for the Steelers game or any game this upcoming Week 7, man, there's a lot of interesting football. Go to betus.com, take advantage of 150% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150 when signing up at betus.com today. Huge shout to BetUS for sponsoring today's live stream. Just please gamble responsibly. Where do you want to start off?
The quarterback.
Obviously.
The quarterback position. I mean, it's the topic of leading into this game and whatnot. And it appears that Russell Wilson unofficially will be the guy in the starting lineup for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, Tomlin has decided on a starter, but is keeping the announcement in-house. So
close to the vest, basically.
So to pretty much everyone out there, we don't know who's starting, but George Pickens kind of spilled the beans when being interviewed and said that he and Russell Wilson have been putting in extra work after practice, more than usual, as a matter of fact, because he says this is his first start. So it's like Pickens has kind of already told everybody, yeah, Russ is starting. I mean, we didn't need George Pickens to tell us that Russ is starting or hint to it, because everyone should expect Russell Wilson to be the starter for this game because he was the starter. He was listed as the starter before week 1. He has been the starter on the depth chart all season.
Yep.
Russell Wilson has been listed as the backup, and the way Tomlin is treating this, Justin Fields, listen, you're the backup. You're stepping in because our starter is hurt. Now he's fully healthy, so we're just going to go with the flow and go with Russell Wilson as the starter, as listed, as advertised, as I promised Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So that is where Tomlin is going. So the fact that Russell Wilson could be starting unofficially should come to no surprise because that's exactly where Tomlin's at.
Yeah.
I still don't think it's the right decision yet. We talked about in the previous live stream. Listen, it's just one of those things where Justin Fields is doing well for us. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it's better offensively than what we had the past couple of years. He's helping us get points on the board. He's keeping the team. He's keeping the defense off the field. He's keeping the offense on the field with his legs and extending drives. He's getting in the end zone with the variety of his legs as well as his arm. You know, he showcased talent in a lot of areas. He has done some poor things the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he has showcased some regression as a passer, and even Justin Fields has acknowledged that in himself. Like, he even admitted, I actually wrote the quote down because he was interviewed about the situation and asked if he'd be frustrated if he would have gotten benched. He basically said that, and I quote, "I don't think I've played good enough if I'm being real with you. If I'm being real to myself, I think if I did play well enough, I don't think there would be any sort of challenge on who should be playing and who should not be playing. We got a few wins, but there are areas that I could be better at, and I'm just going to continue to work on those to get better."
And this is exactly why Justin Fields is highly regarded by his teammates. This is why his teammates rally behind Justin Fields, because he acknowledges, listen, if I would have done better, this wouldn't be a question right now. And that is the 100% truth. If Justin Fields was lighting the world on fire, Russell Wilson is still on that bench. He's not even being considered by Mike Tomlin. That's the truth. But Justin Fields is never satisfied. He's always humble. He's always trying to better himself. And you got to respect that from Fields.
Mm-hmm, of course.
And although he is correct in what he said, I still don't think it justifies benching him. Now, it's not necessarily a benching, quote-unquote, if he's been listed and treated as the backup all season. But the way I see it, the way the offense is going right now, how do you take him off the field? He's not a problem yet. Until he's a problem, there's no reason to take him off the field.
No, if he was playing like a Will Levis or a Zach Wilson of that,
Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, did absolutely. I mean, like we would have a serious problem. Like, yes, Russ, you got the nod. Let's go, let's ride, right? But no, I mean, Fields has been very protective of the football. He's been able to use his legs. He's done a very good job stepping in.
And I've seen flashes of his arm talent.
All game by game.
Consistency needs to be there, but I've seen flashes. We've seen flashes. He can hit the targets deep. He can hit the middle of the field. You know, there is a bit of a concern with his consistencies and his accuracy and him hitting his receivers or finding his receivers or reading defenses.
Yeah, of course.
So that's a concern with him. That always has been a concern with him. And perhaps that's a reason why Tomlin is leading to Russell Wilson to try to open the passing game a little bit, because Russell Wilson does process the field a lot quicker. He reads defenses much better than what Fields does. He has a higher IQ as a quarterback. So perhaps that's a reason why Wilson is being inserted back into the starter, or could be inserted back in as a starter. Maybe he can add more to the passing game. Maybe that's what Tomlin wants. Maybe that's what Tomlin desires.
Yeah.
You know, he said that Fields has done well, but in some areas we're trying to kind of we're trying to jump into bettering certain areas on the offense, and being a better passing offense would be a lot more productive for this offense. That's no secret. So perhaps that's what Wilson's going to add. The question is Wilson fully healthy? What's he going to bring to the table? Being off or being injured for essentially 3 months?
Yeah.
And quite honestly, to be honest with you, I mean, how's this offensive line going to look?
Because the offensive line is just beat up.
Because, again, Zach Frazier is out.
And he's going to be out till at least after the bye week.
Yeah, he'll be out the next 2 weeks. We will not be seeing Zach Frazier at center until after the bye.
That sucks.
That is awful. And now we're going to have Ryan McCollum start, which is, I believe, his second career start. And we have Mason McCormick at right guard, a fourth-round rookie. And we have Broderick Jones still at right tackle, who has been very bad lately. Like that entire side is concerning. And you're going to have an older quarterback that's not as mobile as the current quarterback. You know, that's going to bring some concerns. And truthfully, if you take that off the field and if Wilson doesn't have time and Wilson can't hit the targets down the field, quite frankly, the loss of the rushing ability at the quarterback position for this offense is going to be a massive loss. Now, perhaps the offensive line does a lot better as advertised. Perhaps they step up and they have that next man up mentality, and maybe we can get something going in the passing game with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed, but they do have a humongous test going up against the Jets defense in their front seven.
They do. They really do. But if Wilson is the starter, which we're all expecting, I still want to take Justin Fields off the field entirely. I don't think he should be benched, quote unquote, because the way I see it, if the offense is doing well enough, you keep riding with the hot hand. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you could cut some momentum that already exists. And you just see it all around the league in numerous years, numerous decades where, hey, like, yeah, we signed you as the starter. We have you as the starter. We drafted you as the future, you know, in some cases for certain teams. But we have this backup quarterback that's kind of doing too well for the team right now and is really helping us succeed, helping us win games, help us get points on the board. We're going to ride with him. It's as simple as that. Tomlin is not riding with that. He did that last year with Mason Rudolph. He's not doing that right now with Justin Fields, which we don't know if that's going to be a mistake yet because we don't know what Russell Wilson is going to bring to the table. We haven't seen any of Russell Wilson outside of one drive in preseason.
Yeah, none.
Handy cart with a 199. Handy cart with a 199. Appreciate you. Says, hi, that's it. Oh, and let's fucking go Steelers.
Yes, sir, man.
Appreciate
yes, sir.
you, man.
Thank you.
No, but we don't know what Wilson's going to bring to the table. So that's going to be an interesting watch if he starts, which we're really anticipating.
Now, I'm really intrigued to see what Russ could bring to the table as far as, you know, benefiting the passing game and how he is in the pocket and, you know, showcasing his mobility to a degree. I'm just intrigued to see what Russ can bring to the table at the quarterback position. See if he could bring a level of play that Justin Fields hasn't been able to, specifically in the passing game. But Justin Fields, I feel like, still needs to get some playing time.
Yes.
What I mean by that, I mean like utilizing his legs. If you're gonna go with Russ, which I anticipate, I get it. And hey, you know, if Russ is in there, then I'm gonna root for him. No matter who's under center, I'm going to wish him the best because that's my quarterback at the end of the day.
Sure.
For that game, for that season. But Fields, what he's done with his legs has been very, very beneficial of the offense.
It has been a reason.
And you can't take that. Even when Russ is playing, you can't take that away.
It has been a massive reason why this offense has sustained the drives that they have. And it's a big reason why the offense has gotten the amount of points that they have, which frankly isn't a lot. But, I mean, still. To have a guy like him to get in the end zone is huge for this offense. Any way we can get in the end zone is huge, and he's been a big reason for it. So I don't think it justifies putting him back on the bench, but taking him entirely off the field is just wrong. And that would be just coaching malpractice by Mike Tomlin. If Wilson is a starter, Fields should still see a lot of time on the field. He should still see some packages, some read options, some play action, some whatever to get him on the field, keep the defense guessing, utilize his legs. You know he can throw the ball, so utilize that ability. Any way you can use both quarterbacks on the field is a good thing for the offense because that's going to bring a ton of unpredictability and maybe some explosiveness.
Yeah, this is the discussion we had throughout the whole offseason, leading up into training camp and preseason. And now that they have the ability with both quarterbacks healthy now and Russ ready to go, utilize it, you know, give it an opportunity, especially in a big game like this against the Jets in primetime football. You know, the way that Fields has showcased his talents and shown his proven ability still as a rusher, you still got to utilize it to a degree.
And I would anticipate Tomlin to do it because, I mean, they've hinted at it before Wilson even got hurt again, before he re-aggravated the calf. Yeah, we're going to have some Justin Fields packages. So I anticipate that being used in this game for sure. And I also anticipate, you know, Russell Wilson, the way that Arthur Smith calls his plays and the way Arthur Smith schemes the game up is going to be a lot different. Arthur Smith schemes the game for Russell Wilson a lot different than he would for Justin Fields. So how is that going to align with the success of the offense? What's he going to bring to the table? What could Wilson bring to the offense in that regard? That's going to be an interesting watch. You know what I mean? You know, how is Arthur Smith going to scheme around Russell Wilson in his first game back if he is the starter, which again, we're anticipating. So that's going to be interesting. And I would still anticipate the Steelers to use the ground game a lot because it's Wilson's first game back. He's not exactly 100%. He's damn near close, but you also have a hurt offensive line. You're coming off the best ground game you've had all season. Najee Harris cooked last week.
No, he did big time. Best game of the season. You know, I mean, just explosive runs left to right, taking the man's ankles and whatnot. Like you have to be consistent about that. Yeah, Warren's healthy and whatnot. Like you got to be consistent with that.
So I could anticipate a lot of the ground game still being used. Najee Harris did have a rib injury so far this week while practicing on the injury report. He doesn't have a game status or an injury designation for the game. So he's good to go. Najee's good to go. Warren's good to go. We're going to have the 1-2 punch there. I think we got to use that a lot. We got to rely on it, especially because the Jets' run defense isn't very stellar. You saw what they allowed to Ray Davis and the Bills without James Cook.
Yeah, exactly.
Last week. So Josh Allen didn't even run the ball much.
No, so you already know the weak link of the Jets. Like, that's where that's where you're going to need to attack. That's where you're going to have to be able to get down the field. You got to attack that weak link, and you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
The way that you were running the football was very effective, even behind a hurt and weak offensive line, in my opinion. Like, you got to be effective with that. You have to be effective.
Well, the O-line's got to come up big, too. Ryan McCollum, he hasn't played a lot in the past couple of years. He's now going to have his second career start Sunday night. He's going up against a guy like Quinnen Williams.
That's a big test.
It's a massive
humongous test. My God.
You absolutely trust Zach Frazier to step up against those bullies in the defensive line, those gap fillers, those gap eaters. Ryan McCollum, I'm not sure. You know, there's not enough film to watch to have any confidence, and plus he's kind of one of those guys that's been stashed on the practice squad and made the roster this year because Nate Herbig is on IR. He's out for the season.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. So we're rooting for McCollum, but this is a big game for him. He's going to have to step up at least the next 2 weeks. And I don't know what other options the Steelers could have at center if that doesn't pan out. Maybe Mason McCormick, but I really don't want to put him out of position. Again, he has very limited, maybe a handful of snaps at center in preseason, but that's it. Spencer Anderson, maybe. You know, McCollum's got to step up.
It just goes to show because of the injuries, it shows how bare the depth is now.
And
because these guys are stepping in, they're having to fill in those starting positions, and now the depth is just even more bare.
And I believe Ryan McCollum would be the 9th starting offensive lineman for the Steelers on this O-line already.
Jeez, it's only week 7.
9.
It's only week 7. That is crazy.
9, dude.
I mean, injuries have not been the best thing for the Steelers in general. Like every year they get hit with the injury bug like crazy. But this year, especially early on, like it's just ridiculous. 12 players already on injured reserve.
Yeah.
And then we got Zach Frazier hurt. We still got Cordero Patterson hurt. We still got Nick Herbig hurt. Like, we still got injuries.
I mean, looking at the game status for the game, Cordero Patterson is out. Dylan Cook, who's still on IR, is out. Montrevis Adams with a knee is questionable. Nick Herbig is out. Alex Highsmith will be back. That's going to be big for the defense. Highsmith's back. Herbig is out. Zach Frazier's out. Roman Wilson popped back up on the injury report with a hamstring just 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And he's been limited the last 2 days with a hamstring.
Again.
This guy can't catch a break.
Again, injuries.
Like, we need someone to step up in that wide receiver room. And Roman Wilson's coming off his first career game. And now he gets hurt again with a fucking hamstring. Swear jar.
And then, considering that he was limited the past 2 days, my concern is that they're not going to play him.
I don't think he's going to be active this week.
No, if anything, I think they'll bring up Brandon Johnson, former Broncos wide receiver, and he's got chemistry with Russell Wilson. So I could see them doing that to kind of fill the void of Wilson not being active.
If Wilson,
I don't anticipate Roman Wilson playing. I don't.
Me neither. And honestly, if it's a precautionary issue, I have no problem with that because we can't take any more injuries.
No, especially at the wide receiver because the wide receivers are so.
We have nobody. We have nobody.
No.
We tried Ayuk. That didn't work. We didn't stand a chance with Adams. The second Aaron Rodgers called him up.
No, and
who's left?
And speaking of which, Diana Ruzzini of ESPN recently on Twitter reported that there are a few teams that are calling the Jets and the Steelers are among those.
Oh.
About Mike Williams. Yeah, Mike Williams is on the trade block because of Adams' addition, and it's like Mike Williams. It's like, you know what I mean? Exactly. Like Mike Williams, he's not the guy he once used to be. He's not the 1,000-yard receiver no more.
I guess
He's gotten what I think. I don't even think he's got 10 catches on the season. I don't think. Maybe not, or maybe just enough.
I don't know.
I mean, Mike Williams, he has just not really been beneficial for the Jets.
I mean, granted, he's been the fourth option or the third option.
Yeah, the third option.
Now the fourth option.
But considering he was a number 2 for how many years, and then he's reverted down to the third, and he still ain't doing nothing.
Well, he's been hurt as well, too.
And the injuries, that's my concern about Mike Williams, is the constant amount of injuries he's dealt with throughout his career. Maybe it's just finally catching up to him.
I don't know.
Keep in mind, he's coming off an ACL injury just last year.
Kind of just like, it's one of those like, yeah, he's probably an upgrade for sure, but I don't know. It costs maybe
Like he couldn't even
listen,
he couldn't even be anything for A-Rod. Considering A-Rod's old and whatnot, he's not prime A-Rod no more. Still, like if you're not able to be a handy hand with A-Rod, like what are you now?
Give them Van Jefferson. I mean, that could be a player-player swap without taking away a pick. But do you want to take away a receiver? Granted, Van Jefferson hasn't been nothing, but I'm just
Van Jefferson don't even have 10 catches.
No, he doesn't. He don't even get targets.
He only have 70 yards.
Handy card with 199.
We've got 2 words for
He says check. He said check Twitter. Check out the new bling. All right, let me open Twitter.
New bling.
Yeah, I guess he sent us this new bling he got on Instagram.
Was that a Penn State?
That is a Penn State bling. That is fire.
That is pretty nice.
That is fire. I am not a Penn State fan, but that's fire. I do respect Penn State.
They got to be playing tomorrow, right? Like, who are they playing tomorrow?
I couldn't tell you. Honestly, I haven't kept track of this.
I don't even know their record, to be real with you. I don't. I'm more of a pick guy, and I haven't even caught up with the team.
Most Saturdays, I'm stuck at work, so I can't really follow as much as I want to, but that's nice fire.
Like, I try to get into college football every year, and like the first maybe 2 to 3
I can get into it if I had time to watch
well,
it.
the first 2 to 3 weeks, like I'm into it, then I like afterward, I kind of like forget. I'm like, eh.
How do you forget?
I don't
Saturday.
know. I don't know. It's like I have other things that I try to get done. I put my focus on.
Well, my thing is I don't have time.
I hear you.
I work Saturdays.
I know that. You're a busy man.
You're not down with that.
Keys with a 10.
We've got 2 words for you.
There's really no reason Russ should come out and not look better than Flacco. I wasn't expecting that. I'm expecting to see him throw for at least 200 yards, 20 completions, no excuses. Flacco does it consistently. Flacco, man, is the ageless wonder. I don't understand it. And the Colts are going back to Anthony Richardson. What's the over-under on him getting hurt? 2 quarters?
Maybe.
Listen, I don't disagree, though. You know, he's one of those. Russ is another one of those quarterbacks that has a high IQ, and he can hit his receivers in many ways. So I don't entirely disagree. I'm not expecting it, though, because, I mean, we don't know exactly how healthy he is. We don't know what Russ we're going to get at this stage of his career. We don't know what Arthur Smith is going to draw up for him. We don't know if he's still 100% healthy. So is that going to handicap the offensive game plan?
Is that going to affect? Is that going to affect his play overall? His throwing motion. You know how he's able to plant his feet on the turf.
Sure.
Like you got to think about that. Like all that plays a factor.
Now Tomlin wouldn't put him the starter if he wasn't sure he wasn't 100% healthy. So to be at this stage right now in the season where Tomlin is going to go with him right now of all times, he's got to be good. He's got to be good to go.
I freaking hope so.
So I would hope that everything is unleashed and Russ can cook, or Arthur Smith can scheme up a good offensive game plan, and Russ can hit his targets in the passing game, and hopefully we get a ground game going. We're going to have to. With that passing defense of the Jets, though, that does kind of concern me. They don't commit a lot of turnovers. I think they only have, 2 picks all year?
Only 2 picks, and that's from, I think that's from Brandon Echols. I think he's one of their backup cornerbacks. He's the backup to DJ Reed according to the depth chart. Well, that's practically it. Only 2 interceptions, but Nonetheless, it's like the Jets defense and the secondary really is still legit. I mean,
Well, led by Sauce Gardner.
They don't let anything get by them.
No.
Or rarely,
No.
I should say.
I mean, it's led by Sauce Gardner. He's going up against Pickens. Pickens has done a very good job at going up against some of the best in the league. His problem is effort, care, and drops. 5 drops in the last 4 weeks. Pickens is going to have to be a lot better in this one because he is still the only legit, viable target that the offense has right now. He's going to have to step up against one of the best in the league in Sauce, and he is going to have to literally be on his A game, and his hands are going to have to show up. When the ball hits you in the hands, you're going to have to come down with the football.
You got to catch it.
Once it hits the mitts, that ball shouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, going up against a guy like Sauce Gardner, a very proven, arguably the best cornerback in the league, like Pickens is going to have to step up. We're going to need Pickens big time in this game. So his hands are going to need to show up. His effort's going to need to show up. And I just hope to God that they don't limit his snap count at all.
Well, you already know what the Jets' game plan is going to be.
Yeah.
They're going to stop the run, and they're going to force the game into Russ's hands. And what's Russ going to do? We don't know, but what we've seen the past couple of years with his time in Denver is he doesn't exactly exercise the field as much as you would hope. He doesn't hit the middle of the field as often as he should. He checks it down more times than he should. I'm hoping that's not the case in this one. If that's the case, then my God. And if we don't get anything going in the ground game, then, this could be a very stereotypical, this could be a very vanilla and just watered down offense. And I'm hoping that's not the case because that's going to lead to zero success.
Of course, especially against a team like the Jets. I see no reason for check downs and dinks and ducks, especially from Russell Wilson, because his arm talent's still there. Like, it's not declining. It's not, his arm strength hasn't declined one bit. Like, he's still got a hell of a deep ball. Like, he can still throw the ball very good for his age.
He's still got a lot of juice in that
I see no reason for any dinks and ducks. I don't. No dinks and ducks, no check downs. I don't see any reason for Arthur Smith to be limited with Russell Wilson. I don't.
No.
The guy was a starter from day one, from week one. You better have something up your sleeve. You better have something drawn up.
Well, it's also up to Wilson to hit his targets. It's up to the targets, obviously, to make plays themselves. Everyone has to execute in this game.
Yeah.
30 points last week, first time this season. That's great. But I'm not going to let 30 points distract me from the fact that they did leave points off the board, and they had themselves a mediocre first half. The play calling, the execution, the quarterback play, the receiver drops, the penalties, the offensive line play was all still pretty rough in the first half. And I'm not expecting any great change or anything different in this game because, well, one, we're without our center. The penalties are still persistent. We're going in with a new quarterback, projectedly, that hasn't played the past 3 months. So how much of an offense are we really going to have? It's an unknown. It's very interesting. It's very intriguing at the same time, though. It's concerning, but it's also exciting because a part of me does want to see what Russ is going to offer. What is he going to bring to the table that Fields cannot? We know what Fields can bring to the table, but what can Russ add upon that, specifically in the passing game? And the way I see it, the Jets, like I said, they're going to try to stop the run. They're going to fill the gaps. They're going to stack the box, whether Najee or Warren are getting the handoffs. Fields won't be on the field as often as he obviously used to be as a starter, so there goes that for the majority of the game. And they're going to force the ball into Russ's hands, who only has one viable receiver, and no one else can make plays. Calvin Austin has been making plays here and there. He is getting open. He just needs more targets, in my opinion. We need to utilize his speed a lot more. Maybe with the fact that Russ is starting, that'll draw up some bigger plays for him. That'll draw up more targets for Calvin and, of course, for Pickens, maybe from Muth.
Yeah, I would like to see Freiermuth get more involved, middle of the field, just, what Arthur Smith can do.
Russ loves his tight ends.
Well, whatever Arthur Smith can do to draw up a play design or a scheme in order to get Freiermuth more involved with Russell Wilson now I think it's important because, again, we don't have a wide receiver too. Considering the fact that Roman Wilson is now dealing with another injury, a hamstring injury, we need to utilize Freiermuth more. You paid him big bucks, you decided to extend him long term, you got to get him involved. We have no true wide receiver, too. He can be the number 2 target. We know Pickens is, but we need a number 2 target. That can be Muth.
I would agree, and Russ loves his tight end. So who all can get involved more? What's Russ going to bring to the table? This is all very intriguing.
How is Arthur Smith going to really draw up the offense? What's his play design going to be? Going up against a Jets defense, a legit defense here. It's a big test for everybody.
Yeah, the Jets are 2-4, and I think they're 2-4 more so because their offense can't get points on the field. They can't get points on the board. Their offense can't sustain anything consistently, and they have lacked points. The defense has done everything they could. Will McDonald, who's going up against Broderick Jones,
Oh, God.
has 7 sacks this year. That's tied second in the NFL. Quinnen Williams is a beast. They still got C.J. Mosley in the middle of that field as that green dot. C.J. Mosley is still playing at a decent level at this stage of his career.
Quincy Williams, man. I mean, you want to talk
underrated.
about speed.
Mad
You want to talk about
underrated.
speed and athleticism. He doesn't get any better than Quincy Williams right there.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. Like, yeah, they got talent. Like, we know that. And they come to play every single snap, every single game.
They do. They really do. But the rush defense is where they're really hurt, and that's due to injuries on the defensive line. That's due to them relying on depth, and that's where they got to attack. With Najee, he's coming off his best game of the year. Please get Warren involved more. Draw up some plays for him where he can find success. He brings a level of dynamicness to the offense that he hasn't been able to use or showcase yet due to injuries. And he didn't have himself a great game last week, but that's where Najee stepped up.
Yeah.
Big time. Making plays majority by himself, as a matter of fact. Yards after contact, finding lanes, breaking tackles, getting up the field.
Max Crosby even said himself in an interview, like Najee, like you got to tackle that guy. You got to take him down. Like, of course, like Najee is not easy to take down.
Well, Warren's the same way, just a little more faster.
Yeah, with more burst, of course. So whatever you got to do, what you did last week against Las Vegas, just build upon that. Keep it going. Do what you got to do with Najee and do what you got to do with Warren. Just get those guys involved because they will have to be very key for this game, for the offense.
I would anticipate them to rely on it a lot with Russ projectly getting his first start, and they're not going to want to rush him in with him coming off a 3-month calf injury. You know what I mean? He's a veteran. He is no stranger to situations like this. But at the same time, they might be as precautious with him as possible because he is still the starter on the depth chart. At this point, he might be the starter for the rest of the season. I don't anticipate it, but that's the way Tomlin's going with it right now. So,
yeah. But even
that's how they're going to approach this scenario.
But even then, back to the rushing, Najee, Warren, but even Justin Fields to get that guy involved, especially if you're in your goal line situations.
Oh, dude, if you don't have any red zone plays or options or packages for Fields, you're doing yourself a massive disadvantage.
I mean, dude, Justin Fields has 5 rushing touchdowns this season. Like what he's done at the goal line situation, able to do what he's got to do and get into the end zone. I mean, it's huge. It's been a big part of our success of being 4-2 right now.
It's also one of those things where, if you have some Justin Fields packages, they're going to anticipate him running it. Let's be honest.
Yeah, of course.
But
I mean, why wouldn't you?
But he can throw it. So perhaps the defense is projecting run, but then you're like, wait, I can still throw the ball.
That's where the unpredictability factor comes in.
He can hit anybody in the end zone. I think that's where the offense can really start to wake up a little bit and get unpredictable and get points on the board. I think that's a huge advantage for him. So I'm hoping that's the case, and we'll see what happens, man. Everyone's projecting Russ to start this week. We don't know what's going to happen. A lot of us are very curious to see what could happen, what's going to be new, what's going to be brought to the table, what Russ could bring to a lot of aspects for the offense. It's going to be interesting. I cringe at the thought, but I'm excited. I'm really hoping it's not a case where he is limited in a rushing capacity and the offense as a whole is limited in a rushing capacity.
And it just
gets lazy, it gets stale, and they try to do very little, and the offense just doesn't exist.
No, it would basically hold the offense back altogether and everybody altogether. That's not what we want.
No.
So fingers crossed that's not the case. I'm intrigued on what Russ could bring to the table on how he is playing-wise, coming off a 3-month calf injury, basically, knocking the rust off, whatever. His first career start, projectedly as a Pittsburgh Steeler, this season. So it's going to be interesting.
How do you guys think Russell Wilson's going to do, man? I mean, again, he's not officially the starter. He's unofficially starting. He's starting. I will put money on it. He's starting.
He's starting. I'm not a betting person. I would put money on it.
Yeah. Russ is starting. So how do you guys think he's going to do? I'll be real with you. I can't give you an answer. We've seen very little of Wilson.
It's really hard to tell. It really is. You know, remember back from week 1 against the Falcons? Like, I didn't know what the Steelers offense was going to bring to the table. I didn't know what to expect. I feel the same way about Russell Wilson.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean I'm not intrigued. I'm interested. I'm heavily interested. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on Russell Wilson and his play.
Same. I just hope the O-line steps up. I think that's going to be the X factor for this team, for this offense, is if the O-line can step up, if the depth guys can really have themselves a solid game, limit the penalties, limit the pressures, hold their ground, that will allow the offense to just find some success with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, we're going to need McCollum to step up big time. We're going to need Mason McCormick to step up at right guard.
At least.
And especially Broderick Jones.
At least if Fields was starting, you still know he can run the ball.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Russ can't, but there's gonna be a bit of a significant drop in that component now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean that's obvious. He's not as mobile as he used to be, and as much as Justin Fields.
Well, let's look at it this way. The Jets. Let's say the Jets are game planning for Justin Fields. They're gonna fear his rushing ability, and now they're projected to game plan against Russell Wilson. They're not fearing his rushing ability. They're thinking, hey, how can we contain him in the pocket? How can we make him feel pressured and make him feel trapped? That's where the O-line, that's where everyone in the offense is going to have to step up.
Yeah.
That's my fear. I'm not feeling great about it, but I do want to see, how it could end or what they could bring to the table. Depending on how it goes, because I want to say this right now. Depending on how this goes, this could be I'm not going to think this is going to be like a one-game trial for Russell Wilson.
No.
It's going to be
how Tomlin is about his not doing knee-jerk reactions or whatnot.
Correct.
That's how he would quote it.
Yeah, so that's a great Tomlin. Knee-jerk reaction.
It's not like, Russ is going to shit the bed and like, oh, he's back on the bench. We're going to go with Fields. No,
sure.
That's not what's going to happen.
Now, if Russ comes in and doesn't offer anything much, or the offense doesn't find as much success as they may have done with Fields, or they have done with Fields, there's going to be a lot of fans that are going to say put Fields right back in right now.
Considering it's at Heinz Field, I mean, last year they were vocal about Canada being fired, but about the quarterback position just as much.
There will be fans that will say that.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm kind of thinking I might be part of that group.
Hey, a sign might come up, dude.
I know, but keep in mind, this isn't going to be a one-game trial for Russell Wilson. If anything, this is going to be probably a month with Russ. I don't know. I don't know what Tomlin's thinking is, but I would imagine if Russ stays healthy and he stays as the starter, this isn't going to be a one game and we're going to go with Fields now. This is going to be Russ starting for, I would say, projectedly a month and a half maybe. And then by the time it gets to the most important part of the season, they'll evaluate the quarterback position and they'll go with the best guy.
We'll see.
The Steelers are in a very solid position right now to have two good quarterbacks. So either way they go, I think they'll find some success. It's just a matter of who brings the most success. And we're going to see at least in a month's time what Russ is going to do and if he can offer better.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is. And this is a hell of a decision right here.
If you're not
Keys with a 5.
Keys with a 5 right here.
We've got 2 words for you.
Key says, I know for sure Wilson is going to get sacked at least 2 times for sure. Hopefully not. And hopefully we don't get penalized for more than 50 total yards. I agree. The O-line penalties, man. Last week we had 3 holding penalties. That's got to be minimized.
Big time.
And I anticipate the Jets to bring the heat. I anticipate Jets to blitz. They got a lot of guys that can create a lot of pressure.
Oh, again, knowing that the O-line is bruised up, it's weak, it's full of pretty much depth outside of Dan Moore and Isaac Seumalo. Yeah, the Jets are going to attack that.
Well, considering their corner, Michael Carter, is out. DJ Reed is questionable with a groin. So they could be without 2 of their other guys opposite sauce.
And it might be.
So they're going to try to take...
Plus, they lost Chuck Clark, too.
Yeah, Chuck Clark is on IR, correct.
Yeah.
Ashton Davis is starting a strong safety. So they're going to try to take as much pressure off of the depth as possible.
Yeah, they're going to want to do that, yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see. But most of the chat, I mean, they're kind of mixed on how they think Russ is going to do. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. In regards to the defense, this is where I'm also a little concerned. I'll be real with you, man. Going into this game, I'm not that confident. I'm not. They had themselves a great game versus the Raiders. They did. And I'm not trying to discredit what they did because it's much better than what we all feared, but it was the Raiders. They're not going to have as an easy game as they did last week. They're going up against a future Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, who is one of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL of all time. he knows exactly how to exploit a defense's weakness. He knows exactly how to pick apart a defense. He gets a read of what the defense is doing. He's going to find a way to pick it apart. He is that smart. And now he has his buddy in Davante Adams back. He has Alan Lazard, who had 100 yards last week. He has 5 touchdowns all year.
He's a touchdown magnet this year, and you can't forget about Garrett Wilson.
He has Garrett Wilson as the 2.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson's a 1. He
filthy.
is the 2.
That's filthy.
And he's coming off back-to-back 100-yard games.
Yeah.
And he gets targeted a lot. And keep in mind, the Jets, when they fired Robert Saleh and made their, I believe, their defensive coordinator, the interim, he said that their passing game coordinator is going to be the one calling the shots, calling the plays. Todd Downing is now calling the plays for the Jets, not Nathaniel Hackett. They had like a 4 or 5 week trial of Nathaniel Hackett as the OC. They couldn't obtain nothing. They couldn't get points on the board. They couldn't have any sustainable drives.
No, and that's A-Rod's guy going back to Green Bay, you know, and when A-Rod was back-to-back MVP.
They couldn't
Remember?
do nothing. And then they put in Todd Downing as the OC, as the one calling the plays. And the way they started the game last week versus the Bills, they started off hot. They had 2 scoring drives. And then throughout the game, they had multiple opportunities to put points on the board. In fact, the majority of their drives last week ended in scoring opportunities. They could have won that game if their kicker just didn't stop doinking the field goals.
Yeah, Greg Zuerlein, I believe, is their kicker.
Yeah, Greg the Leg. Not anymore. Is that Cody Parkey? I don't know. But
Greg the Leg.
most of the drives they had last week resulted in scoring opportunities. So the Jets offense now has a little bit of life. They have a little bit of momentum. And now that they added Adams with Garrett as the 2, Breece Hall as well as the running back.
Breece Hall, man, like last Monday night against the Bills, like we saw the resurgence of Breece Hall because Breece Hall this year was getting nothing going.
No,
like he was quiet, he was limited, he was just as impactful as we all know he is. Last week, my God,
dude, 100+ yards on the ground, plus 50 in the air.
The old Breece Hall was back for Monday night.
Bro, his season high before last week was 62 on the ground. He's averaging 3.7 yards a carry, and that was before. I'm sorry, and that's after the Bills game. Breece Hall, man, we all know he's explosive. He has the potential to be one of the most explosive backs in the league. He's a dual threat. He's hard to take down. He's a big play guy.
He's a speedy guy.
He's a guy the Jets can really lean on if they have to.
Just versatile.
He's a great running back. The Steelers are going to be tested against Breece Hall. They're going to be tested by this offense as a whole. Now, I know the Jets are 2-4. Aaron Rodgers is 40-something years old. He's definitely not in his prime. In some cases this year, he has shown that he might be looking washed. I'm not going to lie to you. But can he still pick up our defenses? Yes. Can he still hit his targets?
Like his football IQ is still there. Like none of that has disappeared. None of that has gone. Like A-Rod is still very smart in that regard.
So
though his playing style, it has declined, obviously. I mean, he's thrown 5 interceptions this year.
Yeah.
A-Rod never threw interceptions.
Yeah, you look at his stats, that's kind of awful for an Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it's a little high. So a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers, throwing turnovers like that, that's where the defense is going to have to take advantage. And this Steelers defense, man, like the past number of weeks, they've gotten turnovers.
Yes.
Big turnovers at that. So that's where they're going to have to be consistent about that. That's where they're going to have to come up big.
That's where they're going to have to get to Rodgers.
And that's the big part right here. Like, we know the talent that Green Bay has. Green Bay. I thought A-Rod said Green Bay.
Yeah, I know.
New York has A-Rod and whatnot, but their offensive line
sucks.
Weak. It's weak.
Their offensive line is as follows. At left tackle, they have Tyron Smith, 33-year-old Tyron Smith,
who's given up 5 sacks this year
and 5 penalties.
And Alex Highsmith is back, thankfully. So that's going to be really key there. I'm glad to have Highsmith back because their edge depth was just bare.
It makes me wonder, why aren't they putting in Ola Fashanu, their first-round left tackle out of Penn State this year?
I don't know.
He's sitting on the bench. And listen, sitting behind a guy like Tyron Smith is a great thing for a talent like Fashanu. Like, that's a significant, huge piece for him, in his young career. But Tyron Smith is hurting that Jets O-line. He is washed. Yep. I am confident saying that. He's washed. Alex Highsmith, a healthy Alex Highsmith, is going to be great to have back because Tyron Smith's not having a good year.
No.
Their other tackle, Morgan Moses, also isn't having a good year. He's committing penalties.
Yeah, we know how TJ Watt is on that side.
Exactly. And the whole Jets offensive line is committing tons of pressure and tons of penalties.
Dude, they've given up 16 sacks on the season already. Technically 6 weeks in, and they've given up 16 sacks. So the pressure is going to have to get to A-Rod. You got to get to A-Rod. You got to bring A-Rod down. You got to force A-Rod to make mistakes.
Agreed.
That is going to be very key. That's going to be number one key by the defense right here.
You can't allow Aaron Rodgers and his targets, because their receiving room is stacked.
Yeah.
You got Tyler Conklin at tight end. Don't forget him. Breece Hall can catch out of the backfield. Davante Adams, Alan Lazard, Garrett Wilson.
No, I don't even want to sleep on the backup running back, 20-year-old Braylon Allen. Like, the guy's a stud, too.
He is.
The guy's a very young and talented back.
Yeah, he makes plays all over the field as well.
So I don't even want to sleep on him. But, the front seven, we know how they've played all year. Cam Hayward just appears to be aging like fine wine. Like, he's been playing some of the best football in a recent amount of years, and he's staying healthy at that, knock on wood.
Yeah.
We know how the pass rush is. TJ Watt, Highsmith coming back, that's going to be crucial. The inside linebackers, they're playing a lot better. Atlanta Roberts is a guy that's really standing out there. They're just going to have to really come up big.
So the Jets, they're 2-4. They've lost 3 straight, but I feel like their offense is starting to gain just a little bit of momentum. The results aren't there on the field, but I get a sense like they're starting to go in the right direction. They got Adams. They're able to get last week, man, they're able to get a lot of guys involved because they switched the play calling duties to Todd Downing. And the way they were able to exercise the field and specifically use like a Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson you can put anywhere on the field, and he's a field stretcher.
Yep.
He's a yak guy. You can put him outside. He'll make plays. You can put him in the slot. He'll make plays. You give him any sense of space, it's dangerous.
You're cooked.
So the defense is going to have to step up. They're not going to have an easy week like they did last week versus a legitimate preseason starting offense. They're going to go up against an offense that hasn't been able to put the production on the field, but is still starting to find some momentum. And the quarterback jump that they're going up against is significant. And the way he reads defenses, the way he hits his targets, and obviously just the player he is.
Yeah.
Even at this stage of his career, at his age. The defense, ever since, I'd say, the Colts game, their secondary has been just a little sus, and they've been fully healthy. Last week, they didn't allow much of that. Granted, the Raiders don't have much to offer in anything. Now, the defense. I am praying the defense to not let up anymore.
The secondary.
They have to limit the big plays. They called a break last week, and now they're not going to have an easy week. The defense is going to have to play big. Defense is going to be very key in this game. I'm not trying to overrate the Jets offense. I'm just saying they are threatening.
Yeah.
They have the players, they have the playmakers to do it.
Well, I anticipate the Jets not wanting to be limited or play down after just getting Davante Adams. That's not what they want to do. That's not what Adams is expected. That's not what A-Rod wants to do. No.
So you got to attack that O-line. You got to stop the run, and you got to get to Rodgers. Rodgers isn't as mobile as he used to be either, so you can contain him in the pocket. You can get to him. The Jets O-line allows a lot of pressure, a lot of penalties, a lot of sacks, and the Steelers, man, their front seven has been very good this year.
Yeah.
Watt is a beast. Hayward this year has been a beast.
Yeah, if the Steelers can find a way to limit the rushing attack, limit Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, which they've done a very good job overall this year. I think they're number 4th ranked in rush defense this year. If they can find a way to limit Breece Hall and force the ball into Rodgers' hands, and then that's where they can get the pressure to Rodgers and try to get Rodgers down or cause Rodgers to turn over the ball, that's going to be hella key.
Right. And I'm begging, and one thing I want to say about defense real quick, I am begging them not to play as much soft zone.
No, because, again, A-Rod will pick that apart.
Rodgers will tear that shit up like
he'll be licking his
feast.
chops. He'll be licking his chops, man. Like he's at a buffet or whatnot.
Dude, the way they've added, like, Adams and Lazard, they're both great blockers. You know, all you got to do is, like, get a quick pass off to Garrett Wilson. He's dangerous in space. You got the blockers to get him up the field. You know, they'll tear that apart. They can be methodical.
Yeah.
They got guys that they can give the ball to, and they'll make plays all over the field. So the defense is going to have to play significantly better than what they have versus the Colts and versus the
even the Cowboys.
Versus the Cowboys.
Yeah. They can't let anything up, man. Secondary, man, they're going to have to come up big. They're going to have to be locked down, literally. JPJ, he's going to have to be locked down. Dante Jackson, he's going to have to be locked down. The safeties, they're going to have to be locked down. They're going to have to come up big and benefit the cornerbacks right there and then.
We're going to need the biggest and the best game from the defense all season. Truthfully, it's prime time. I do feel like the Jets have an offense that can really do some damage. And the way the Steelers defense has been looking the past couple of weeks is still a concern to me. So I'm hoping whatever issues they've had, miscommunication, whatever they're calling in terms of what Austin wants to do on the field, that's all got to get cleaned up. They got to be on their A game today.
Yeah.
Or not today, Sunday night.
Sunday night, yeah.
They got to be on their A game in prime. It's prime time, man. Like, they got to step up. So going into this game, I'll be real with you. Yes, the Steelers beat the Raiders. They blew them out. They blew out a team they should have blown out. They did that. They got 30-plus points. The defense came away with 3 turnovers. That's great. It's not going to be as easy this week. It's not.
No, though, despite the Jets losing 3 straight, they're a big test right here.
They are. And the Steelers got to take the momentum that they gained from last week's win. They got to come back home wearing the throwbacks. The 70s throwbacks honoring the 50th anniversary of Super Bowl IX.
The gray face masks are back, dude.
We're going to need a big game from this entire Steelers team. We don't know what to expect with Russ as the starter, projectually the starter, but it's going to be interesting. We're going to need a big game from the rushing offense. Again, we're going to need Russ to cook. We're going to need the O-line to step up, and we're going to need every aspect of the defense to show up. Specifically, man, get to Rodgers. That's how you win this game defensively. Get to Rodgers. Because the secondary, until they can slow down what they've been allowing, I'm still going to anticipate, against that receiving core, against a guy like A-Rod who can still sling it. It's just one of those things where I'm going into this not feeling that great. But I'm hoping the Steelers come out and give us some real good football. Something to be excited about.
Yeah.
And just come out with a dub. They got to come out with a dub, man, on prime time. They got to keep stacking wins before the bye week. The bye week is approaching.
Yep.
Quickly. We got 2 more games, then we got the bye. So they got to keep stacking wins as much as they can because we all know that second half of the schedule is a Mortal Kombat gauntlet. We're going to need as many wins as possible, so keep stacking wins by any means necessary and come out with a win, man, versus the Jets.
And that's where the Steelers are going to have to come up and be on their A game, man. They got to be on their A game. They got to give it their 100% best as far as player execution goes, as far as the coaching goes, just as much.
Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, it's funny because you look at the Jets. Oh, they got an interim, head coach. They're 2-4. They got an aging Aaron Rodgers. You look at all that and you don't think they're threatening. They're probably not to many other teams, but to the Steelers, just a little worrisome.
It's just based off the moves that they did. They got a new play caller. They added Davante Adams again. It's just,
Breece Hall's going.
They want to build upon that. And coming off a devastating loss to a division rival on primetime Monday Night Football, yeah, they're going to want a big win. Especially after just acquiring Adams. They're going to want to get a win immediately. The Jets coming off 3 losses.
Oh, they're going to need a win badly.
They are salivating about a win. They want a win. And unfortunately, the Steelers are in their way, and the Steelers got to make sure that the Jets don't get past them. They don't run right through them.
Here's the truth. The Jets need a win more than we do, more than the Steelers do. But how bad do the Steelers want it?
Steelers are going to have to show it Sunday night. Steelers are going to have to go out there and fucking ball.
They're going to have to embody that 70s throwbacks block number jersey mentality and come to eat, come to win, and walk out with a dub. That's what I'm hoping, man. Honestly, by any means necessary, let's get a dub. I think the Jets are very beatable. I think we have the defense to limit Aaron Rodgers in the targets. We definitely do. It's just a matter of everyone's got to play better. Everyone's got to step up. And whatever you allowed the past 2-3 weeks or so, you got to minimize those mistakes.
Yeah, and see if you can just really build upon back that trust on how we feel about the defense.
Yeah.
Like if the defense can really come up big right here and just limit everybody, then the trust is instilled again. The trust is built back up again.
Well, we know they can get to the quarterback. We know they can commit turnovers. Those are the 2 biggest keys right now to limit Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, limit that offense in general.
And frankly, I think the offense, they're going to have themselves a really good game, man, to help out the defense. And keeping Fields off of the field for the majority of the game might hurt that. I do want to add that. So,
But nonetheless, I see this game being just heavily defensive, like usual. It usually is the case when it comes to Steelers games. Like every week, it's always defensive. But in this game specifically, like both defenses, in my opinion, are very legit. You know, they are basically the backbone of both teams. Like I don't see this being very high scoring and whatnot. I don't. Even with the Jets and the offensive weapons they got, I still see this being very heavily defensive. It's just a matter of, you know, who could protect the ball more, you know, who could protect the football even more. Keep in mind, the Steelers' offense, they've only turned over the ball 4 times this year. So protecting the football when it comes to the offense is going to be very key.
agreed.
Very key. The Jets don't really have a lot of turnovers, so to speak, this season, but still, nonetheless, you got to protect that football. You got to make sure you don't force any mistakes, you don't throw any interceptions. You got to make sure that you tuck that football in and make sure that it doesn't get stripped. You got to protect the ball.
Yeah, because the Jets and A-Rod will take advantage of that. So, yeah, turnovers is going to have to be minimized again by this offense.
It could just come down to who wins the turnover bout.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, it could come down to who's the best rushing offense.
That could come down to that too, yeah.
Because-
Turnovers, rushing the football.
Because Brees Hall and Najee are coming off their 2 best games all season. All season. So they're probably going to want to rely on those hot hands. And I don't blame either team because you go with the momentum right there. You go with what's working so far. So Najee is going to have another strong one. Get Warren involved to just keep the rushing offense at bay. Keep the rushing offense flowing. Otherwise, I think the Steelers can very well win this. I'm not feeling great heading into it, but I know we can win this game. I know the Jets are always beatable. The Jets as an organization are hilarious. The Jets as an organization as a whole are awful. They cannot be taken seriously. Because the Jets at the end of the day are always the Jets. Jets. They are ass. They are.
they take some of the biggest gambles in probably NFL history and it never pans out.
No.
It's the worst gamble they could ever do.
The Jets are desperate.
Big time.
The Jets have been desperate for years now, to the point that they have literally pulled out the Brett Favre card all over again. All over again.
And how they even got his old buddy. They even got Davante Adams to come in. You know,
Literally.
though you could say that they arguably could have needed him, you know, use that chemistry, use that target ability, the playmaking ability, but just them being desperate. It's like, screw it, right?
Yeah.
You know, the owner, he's saying screw it and whatnot.
Maybe this will work this time. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I fired the head coach that I never wanted. My brother hired him. Let me fire him because I never liked him. I never trusted his mentality and whatnot.
Yeah,
Let me give this guy the nod to be the interim for the rest of the year. Oh, we lost Monday Night Football. Hey, Rod, you want Davante Adams? Fuck it. We'll trade away whatever for Davante Adams. You know what I mean?
If you're
Right.
not down with
Got on
that,
late. Ooh.
we've got 2 words
Drew.
for you.
Shout out to Drew, man.
Shout out to Drew, brother.
499 says, got on late. Is Najee going over 100 again?
I sure as hell hope so, Drew.
You know what? That's actually, Drew, appreciate that. Let's put that in the poll. Najee.
That's gonna that's gonna be big. That's gonna be crucial. Having to go 100
Has
again.
he ever had 100?
Back to back. Hold on, I think he did last year, late last year when Mason was in, didn't he?
Well, I'll tell you this. This is a very favorable matchup. I think they can definitely eat that Jets rushing defense.
I'll tell you what. Last week I didn't start Najee. I benched him because he wasn't doing anything in fantasy. And go figure, he has 100 yards. I'm not putting him in my lineup. If that's the case, as long as I don't put Najee in my lineup, he's getting 100 yards and he's helping the team win games.
So-
I'm not playing him in fantasy ever again.
Okay, well, yeah, don't play him.
I won't.
And if that
I won't.
and if that doesn't work, try playing him again and see if that works.
It depends on the matchup.
It does.
It depends on the matchup.
I don't know. We'll see.
Because I still got DeAndre Swift and Jahmyr Gibbs and whatnot, so it's like I kind of have to
I
go
got Joe
down.
Mixon back, so I'm happy.
Okay.
All I
right.
need is Puka back. When is Puka coming back? Next week?
I don't know. They got a Thursday night game coming up.
God, I need Puka.
Yeah.
Not been a good year for me. Not been a good year for me.
Yeah, I can say the same thing. I mean, neither am I. I'm in 3 fantasy leagues, and neither of them are working out for me.
One's
At
working
all.
out for me. The Discord league is working out very good for me.
What's your record?
I've 4-1, 5-1.
You're what?
Yeah.
With who?
What do you mean with who?
With who? Who you got?
Okay,
I haven't paid attention.
I'll
to
tell
your
you this one
team.
right now. Okay, so in the work league, I'm 2-4. I don't want to talk about that. In the Discord league, I am 5-1, which is a lot better than last year.
Well, good for you. Yeah, last year you were like
I was
the worst.
last
you were the
place.
worst team.
I got
dude.
Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, AJ Brown, Brandon Ayuk, Brock Bowers, T. Higgins, Detroit's defense, Evan McPherson, Lad McConkey, Austin Eckler, Pat Freiermuth, Tyler Algier, Aaron Rodgers, Xavier Legette, Washington's defense, and Tua.
It's a good team. It's a solid team. Solid lineup there.
I'm actually not happy with that depth. I'm gonna have to make some waiver claims.
Who else is
How
out
I'm
there?
5-1 with that is astronomical
Who the
because
hell-
Brandon Ayuk has done nothing.
Bro, who the hell is out there remaining as far as waiver claim
I don't know.
in fantasy?
See, I went running back heavy.
No, that's smart to do so because I did the same thing. Because receiver, I mean, you can just go with about anybody. You know, wide receiver can drop down, you still get a quality guy. So that's what I did.
Right.
But it's just the unfortunate part was early on, Brees Hall wasn't getting anything going, and Devon Achante, he's suffering because Tua ain't playing.
Oh, I know.
So it's like I can't win.
What, is Cup back?
Is Cooper Cup back?
Should be back. Cup could be back. That'd be good. That'd be good for Stafford. They got an interesting game this week, the Rams do. A lot of interesting football this week. A lot of interesting football. We even got double-headed Monday Night Football, man. We got the Ravens and the Bucks. How about the Bucks? How about Baker?
I hope Baker torches the Ravens. I do.
So do I.
He's got chemistry going up against them. He's got history. And what's the second Monday night game? I know that's on ESPN Plus. Strictly. Which I don't have. I don't think I'm gonna apply for a subscription.
I'll just
Depending on the matchup, what is it?
Los Angeles and Arizona.
No. Now I'm not getting. That's
No
the
one is
game.
watching
That's
that.
the game you get. You put on ESPN Plus.
No one is watching that. No one's watching that
No.
at all. Yeah, Denver beat New Orleans. Javante had himself a great game. It seemed like everyone had a great game except Cortland Sutton,
Yeah, Cortland Sutton, the guy that Denver doesn't want to give up.
but didn't get a single target.
No.
You can trade him, bro. You clearly don't need him.
You want a fifth, Denver?
I'll
Pay-
give you a
want
fifth. I'll give you a fifth. We got 2 fifths next year. I'll give you a fifth for Sutton.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm also salty because he didn't get me 20 yards. All I needed,
You're the one. You're the one that put the wager.
bro, I could have put in anyone else and they would have got me 20 yards. But I go with the obvious choice, and he doesn't give me 20 yards.
He doesn't. Even, he gets no yards.
It's like anytime you put him in fantasy or you put money on him, he does nothing. But the second you don't, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns.
There you go. Well, that's what happened to me last week because I had Dallas Goedert in my lineup as the starting tight end. He ended up getting hurt.
But that was also you last week with Najee Harris.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is I had Dallas Goedert. He got hurt. He got me nothing. And I benched Evan Ingram.
Oh,
Evan Ingram had 102 yards and like 10 catches.
you didn't win, did you?
No. I lost because of that.
I
I'm
bet
like, how
you.
the hell was I supposed to know? The Jags suck. Okay. How was I supposed to know?
I don't know.
Now they're playing again in England. England.
London.
London. Yeah.
Technically-
England, technically.
technically.
Against New England.
If Justin can't handle going to the bench and it affects him negatively, then he's not mentally tough to be quarterback one. Simple. I don't think it's affecting him. He is going in with an incredibly humble mindset. All the interviews he's done, it's just, whatever happens, happens. I'm here to help this team in any way I can.
It's not like
taking
not like he's Kenny Pickett.
No, he's taking this in the most professional manner possible, which is phenomenal. And you look at this quarterback situation, Russ or Fields, there's no beef. There's nothing. There's
None. Zero.
There's no eerie feeling in the locker room. It's just both guys are rooting for each other. They're rooting for the team's success. No matter where the team goes with what quarterback, they're rooting for each other.
And no matter who's in at quarterback, the players are going to be behind them.
That sets that's a different mentality in the locker room, and that's going to play a massive effect on a lot of the young guys.
Yeah, big time.
That is a locker room, just leadership type feed that we need.
It's the atmosphere that was missing
Correct.
for years. That atmosphere, man, there was no atmosphere. Even
Correct.
Ben said last year, like, you need somebody in that locker room to tell you straight up, like, this is not how the culture should be. He said that last year on his podcast.
Jose says the Jets are a clown show, sure, but the way Tomlin has dealt with his quarterback situation is a clown show too. Tomlin needs to grow up here and just name his quarterback one and deal with George Pickens. I agree. Why is he afraid to name the starter? Are you not confident? Why wouldn't you be confident? You got 2 solid quarterbacks.
I mean, these are 2 guys that you played a part in bringing in to revamp the quarterback position. Like, how can you not be confident these are the guys that you wanted? It just doesn't make sense. And it's week 7. We're going into week 7. Just name the guy that you're going with so that we can move on, okay?
Yeah.
Why go through so much trial and error only for George Pickens to spill the beans like...
Oh, I see you, Digital. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Luke says anyone who wants Deontay back is delusional. I agree. Honestly, dude, Deontay, I mean, he needed to go. He needed to change.
Well,
his
keep
atmosphere.
in mind, he didn't want to be here.
No,
he had that feeling, that I guess the morale of just, hey, I don't want to be here no more.
Like George Pickens right now,
basically.
But no, Deontay, he just needed a change of atmosphere, and he's not finding much success, winning wise in Carolina, but he is getting targets. So I'm happy for Deontay's success in that regard. But
from Andy Dalton.
Dude, we got Dante Jackson out of it, and Dante Jackson has 3 picks this year. He should have 5, actually. He's been an incredible addition. And he's exceeded my expectations, let me tell you. Now, yeah, we don't have a receiver 2, but I don't know, would you rather have a cornerback 2 and no receiver 2, or a receiver 2 and no cornerback 2?
We unfortunately had to sit through Patrick Peterson and Levi Wallace last year getting cooked until JBJ finally came in just before the bye.
Chat, that's a good question. Would you rather have a receiver 2 and no cornerback 2, or a cornerback 2 and no receiver 2? I'd much rather have a cornerback 2 and no receiver 2.
Here's the way I see it, okay? Hold on.
Granted, I know we are so bad at receiver. I know.
But here's the way I see it,
But
right?
we were so bad at corner last year, too.
You have George Pickens, we know that. But again, I've preached it. You also have Pat Freiermuth. You don't have a number 2 wide receiver, but you technically have a number 2 target. And Pat Freiermuth, to fill that void of a wide receiver 2. Do we still need a wide receiver 2? Yes, don't get me wrong. But we still have a number 2 target that I feel like needs to be more involved in the offensive game plan and the offensive strategy.
Yeah,
that is Pat Freiermuth. While you have Dante Jackson locking down the number 2 position.
Well, not just Muth, Washington.
Yeah.
I feel like the Steelers are giving more targets to Connor Hayward, which I'm not opposed to, but he's the 3.
He's a 3, but like
get more targets to Darnell. And the reason they do it is because Darnell's a better blocker.
We know he can block.
Give the targets to Darnell.
I don't see why not.
Like, get the tight ends involved more. Maybe that's what Russ is going to add.
Like, the thing that he showcased, Darnell, not just his blocking ability at Georgia, but as well as his underrated receiving ability. Like, if Brock Bowers was not the number 1 tight end at Georgia, Darnell was. And he would have showcased more receiving upside.
Absolutely. And that's where
and plus, keep in mind, like, for his size, I mean, we're talking about Mount Washington right here. He's still very athletic. In my opinion, he's very, very athletic.
Not very, very. Hold on, you're over-exaggerating.
No, I think he is. I think he showcased that during the combine when he was making the...
Well, sure, but he's not... He's a stiff route runner, is what I'm saying.
Well, the route running, yes, I get, but I still feel he's athletic.
He's just a monster to take down.
Yeah. He's still athletic enough. I mean, the guy can freaking hurdle people.
No, he's a vertical threat. Yeah, definitely. I think the Steelers need to utilize that. The reason why, because he was the number 2 in Georgia, that made him a much better blocker. First of all, you already have a guy of his size and his stature and his strength.
Yeah.
You make that to 2, he's going to have to do nothing but work on the blocking. He's already a demon there.
Yeah.
Get him involved more in the receiving threat. I think the Steelers have to.
Yeah.
Like, if they're going to be trapped with this receiving core, you have no choice but to rely on the tight ends.
Why wouldn't you?
Arthur Smith plays his tight ends the majority of the time. So, literally, get them involved in the receiving game. I don't see why you can't. Muth and Washington. I feel like you got 2 stud tight ends right there.
Yeah. Darnell, what? He got a receiving touchdown against Denver back in week 2.
Yep.
And that was in the red zone, so utilize
the first
more of
touchdown
that.
of the season.
You utilize more of that. Like, come on, man. Why wouldn't you?
DK or Cup? DK. I don't think either is realistic, though.
No, but I would go with DK. See, the thing with Cup, like I still think he's very good, but his injuries have been piling upon him.
I know. I know.
Like, it's not looking good for him.
I'm going DK. If I had the choice, I'm going DK.
Yeah, I'm going DK.
Olave or Brian Thomas? Right now?
Brian Thomas.
Yeah, Olave's been disappointing.
I'm going Brian Thomas.
Dude, I loved Olave coming out of the Buckeyes, dude. But Olave's been dog shit this year.
Now, Brian Thomas is like the one beneficial thing about Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Like Brian Thomas, like we knew he was a dog coming at LSU, but like he's really showcasing that. Even being a part of the 1-5 Jaguars, like Thomas just making crazy plays left and right. So yeah, I would go with Brian Thomas.
Yeah. I mean, Olave, dude, I mean, he's still young. He still has a lot of potential. I just don't think he has as much of an impact as I thought he would.
No, and what's weird because
He's got speed,
listen,
he's got the route running ability. He is their one.
keep in mind, like
He's got one potential.
the Saints are dealing with a plethora, a laundry list of injuries. Like the injuries, they just keep piling on. Like they just lost their number 1 or number 2 corner, I think.
It's just this year he hasn't done much. Rashid Shaheed has been the 2, and now he's out for the year.
Yeah, and I look back at the first 2 weeks when they were putting up 40 points and just blowing teams
What
out
happened?
left and right. Like what happened after that? Did they just throw all their eggs in the basket the first 2 weeks
What happened,
and
dude?
forgot that they still hadn't had 15 more games left to go? Like,
and
what happened?
now they had Bub Means as the one this year or this week.
Who was that one receiver that they had? Like he was like what 6'6" or something. What was his name? Like he's a very tall target. He got involved like A.T. Perry.
Him?
Yeah, don't they still have him?
I don't know. I haven't followed him and.
I know you were big on him coming out of college.
Yeah, is he? No, where's he at?
I thought.
He's a Bronco.
Hey, when did he become a Bronco?
I don't know. That happened overnight.
I suppose. Damn. Okay.
I don't know. Bet they're wishing they still had him now.
Did he catch a catch and not Cortland Sutton last night?
I don't know.
More likely, right?
Veely got 20 yards more than one. See, like we're going down a bet rabbit hole. So,
Yeah, you weren't a happy camper.
no, I didn't have success on Thursday. I was very upset.
No.
I don't ask for a lot, but 20 yards is all I needed from Sutton, bro.
You can't even get that.
No. Bo Nix didn't even look his direction.
And see, that's your argument too. Is like you put the littlest like yardage and whatnot. And you're like that's all I need. But like that's the week that you do it, and then they don't do it.
Yeah.
You can't win.
I haven't had luck this year. I mean,
Can't win.
I've had luck the past couple of weeks compared to earlier on, but so far, man, it's not setting the tone.
Obviously, you're not going to win every bet. You're not going to get every
No,
wager.
I'm just saying it's not setting the tone.
Maybe you're just jinxing these players.
No.
Maybe that's what it is. Right?
No.
Maybe.
No. It's not my fault. Was Roman Wilson a bust? Did they not scout him, or do they expect?
I'm not calling Roman Wilson a bust yet. Slow your roll.
First of all, timeout. He's a 3rd round pick. Can you really label a 3rd round pick a bust? I mean, I guess you can, but timeout. Okay, he's been hurt. He's been hurt. He wasn't injury prone coming out of Michigan.
No.
He got hurt on a fucking jet sweep of all plays during training camp, and he re-aggravated a hamstring injury. Does he have injury concerns? Yes. Could he be injury prone? Maybe. I mean, if it's persist, then probably. But
I hope not.
I'm not overreacting about the injuries. I just find it as just the worst luck right now. He has a golden opportunity, and he just can't stay healthy. Every time he gets back on the field, he's hurt. I feel for him, man.
It's unfortunate. It really is.
I feel for him.
I hope it's not, a severe injury at that or anything serious that's going to be a lingering issue for multiple weeks, like his ankle injury was.
It's been a rough year for the draft class.
Yeah, Fatanu. I mean, he played very little, and like after 2 weeks, he was already out.
Frazier's great, but has had snap issues. Roman Wilson hasn't had a catch yet. Peyton Wilson's been a dog. Mason McCormick's done very solid. Logan Lee and Ryan Watts are on IR.
Yeah.
It's not been a good year for the draft class, man. It's just the most unfortunate luck.
Now, so far, the only standout, if I had to say, is Zach Frazier. Zach Frazier's been nothing but a dog, pancake after pancake when it comes to blocking. It sucks that he's hurt and he's out. It really sucks.
Right.
But, Zach Frazier and Peyton Wilson, they've been the guys that really stand out.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else, unfortunately, it's just the injury bug bit him.
Steelers need to go after Olave. He's tight with GP and balled out with Fields in college. Yeah, when they were with the Buckeyes.
Of course.
I would love Olave. This year he hasn't been great, but honestly, I think a change of scenery would do him well. Thing is, I mean, they drafted him 2 years ago in the first round.
Yeah, they did.
I don't think they're going to move on that quickly. Although I would love Olave. I think his speed and what he could bring to the table is really good. No, I'm sorry. He's in his third year.
Is it third year? I forgot.
I think he's in his third year because his first 2 years. Didn't he have 1,000 yards his first 2 years?
I think so. I can't remember. I think he did.
Pretty sure. I'm pretty. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure. No, this might be his third year. Either way, I know he had like 1,000 yards last year at least, and this is his third year. I think he had 1,000 yards the last 2 years. So I don't know if the Saints want to get rid of him, but I'd love.
I don't know why they would do that.
They would have no one else as the one.
No, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't. They need to get Washington involved more. I agree. I couldn't agree more. Can't wait to watch Nick Chubb Sunday. Yeah, Nick Chubb is coming back. For those that don't know, Nick Chubb will be playing versus the Bengals.
Yep. It appears to be the saving grace for Cleveland. He's going to have to be.
There ain't no saving that.
He's going to have to be. I mean, he's a guy that's really going to have to carry that team on his back.
There's no saving that. They suck.
See, but that's the question there. Like it was a gruesome injury that Chubb suffered last year. Like, how much of it is it going to affect his game? And considering the fact that they're going to now have to rely on Chubb even more so than ever before, like, is that really going to take its toll on Chubb? Is the injury going to take a toll, and then is the workload going to take a toll even more so?
I would anticipate him to get a lot of playing time, though. If I'm being real with you, I wouldn't anticipate
Who does?
that.
That's right. To play Cincinnati, right?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes, which is a good time to thank the sponsor of today's live stream. Shout out to BetUS Sportsbook and Casino for sponsoring today's live stream as we take a look at the AFC North, because you look at the standings, man. As it should be, the Ravens and Steelers are on top, man. All is well in the world. All is right so far when the Ravens and Steelers are naturally on top of the AFC North. The Bengals are 2-4, and the Browns are hilariously 1-5, as they should be. You see, like, their upcoming matchups. This week, we got the Bengals versus the Browns. Next week, we got the Ravens versus the Browns. Week 9, the entire AFC North is facing the entire AFC West. And week 10, we got the Bengals versus the Ravens. And, of course, the entire second half of the schedule for the Steelers is literally all of the AFC North, plus the Commanders, Eagles, and Chiefs. So, how will the division look by week 11? Honestly, man, I'm hoping. I really hope the Steelers remain on top. The Ravens are starting to find some momentum right now after falling 0-2, so that they're on a hot streak right now. And I'm just saying, you know, this is why the Steelers got to keep stacking wins, because of the situation like this. Ravens are high right now. They got the Bucs Monday night. Steelers need as many wins as they can get before the divisional matchups start to get tighter, and as they approach. You know, the AFC North looks like this now, but in a month, 2 months' time, who knows how it could be.
Could be drastically different.
Could be very drastically different. But, yeah, shout out to BetUS, man. You know, they got live wagering on all major sports. They got all the Week 7 betting lines, as well as so many other NFL props you guys can still bet on. But let's take a look at the matchups, man, because we got the Bengals and Browns. The Bengals are the favorite. I mean,
I wonder why.
Me personally, I'm always going to take whoever the Browns are facing, because, I mean, they're just the lock of the week. So, Bengals, we got the Steelers versus the Jets. Again, the Steelers are the underdog. So if you like the odds of the Steelers winning, that money line is pretty interesting. And we got the Ravens at the Bucs. The Bucs are the underdog. I find that interesting.
Really?
I find that very favorable, man, because I think Baker's cooking right now. That Ravens secondary is very sus. I like the Bucs' chances. Plus, they can run the ball. The Bucs, man, last week, they ran the shit out of the football. So I really like that Bucs money line, man.
Even without Rashid Wright.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Because White's been hurt, man.
Yeah, but even then, like, they still got guys that can step up and run the ball, man. Like their OC too, like he's really standing out.
Exactly. Yeah, Liam Cohen. Yeah, the Bucks are looking good right there. So you gotta favor that. I really like the Bucks money line right there. So if you guys want to favor that, I actually might put some dough there. So if you guys want to do that, BetUS is the only sportsbook you guys should have this upcoming NFL season. And for the remainder of the NFL season, plus they have a great 150% sign-up bonus. Only first 3 deposits up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150 when signing up at BetUS.com today. Huge shout to BetUS. Just please gamble responsibly if you are gambling this week.
Which I know you are.
I already have.
Okay.
I already have.
Well, yeah, of course, but I know when it comes to Sunday.
We'll see what happens. We'll see.
What games do you plan on wagering?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet.
I haven't looked. I've been too busy.
Okay.
I haven't looked.
You still got time.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Browns own Burrow. Yes. As a matter of fact, I don't think Burrow has a road win versus the Browns.
Really?
I believe. You know what? Let me search it up.
That's actually kind of hard to believe.
Let me search it up.
That's
Joe
hard to
Burrow
believe.
record versus Browns, because I'm very curious. So, Burrow is 1-5 versus the Browns.
Really?
Okay. Wow. He's 1-5 versus the Browns, and he doesn't have a single win in Cleveland.
There's a first time for everything.
Listen, the Browns are terrible, okay? They're not beating the Bengals, and the Bengals aren't even good. But that's a testament to just how bad the Browns are. They got rid of Cooper. Who are they going to throw the ball to?
Jerry Jeudy.
David
Who doesn't have
Njoku?
Jerry Jeudy doesn't have 200 yards on the season.
He might as well be the Steelers number 2 with those stats. And no, I don't want Jerry Jeudy.
No,
He sucks.
are you kidding me? What's funny is the Browns extended him. They traded for him and they extended him.
Yo, what are y'all doing?
Why they traded for Jerry Jeudy, I have no idea. But hey, Browns, you do you.
Ravens flock, I disagree. You guys are not spanking the Bucks. You guys might ultimately win, but it's not going to be a spanking. It's not going to be a blowout.
No, Baker and the Bucks, they're not just going to lie down and just
no. Baker
get
leads,
blown out.
Baker leads the league in passing touchdowns. Their OC is cooking right now. They got 3 very viable running backs, and y'all can't cover nobody. So yeah, I think the Bucks have a very solid chance. Ultimately, the Ravens might win, but I think the Bucks are gonna keep it close.
It'll be a competitive game for sure. It'll be close. It could come down to a field goal.
I'm looking forward to it. And if the Steelers win versus the Jets, I'm really looking forward to it. I'll be the biggest Bucks fan there is, and I'm not even a Bucks fan. Clearly, I'll be the biggest Baker fan. I swear to God.
Imagine saying that just 4 years ago.
I know.
Imagine saying that 4 years ago.
I know. Look at me now.
What the hell?
Shout out to Baker, man. Seriously, Baker is
no, mad respect to Baker.
Baker is a hell of a story. Hell of a story. I'm very happy for him. He got out of that dumpster fire and he's finding immense success. He's there. I don't want to say franchise yet, because franchise is like 10 plus years.
Well,
right?
keep in mind he was extended basically long term.
Yeah. So he's their starter.
You could basically say franchise because they gave him a big contract. They're betting on him, and he's living up to it.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
I miss Baker. I do miss Baker in the division because he was easy to just go up against. But now he's really he's found a new sense of life, which is good for him.
You had him, Browns.
They had,
yeah, but you just weren't good enough, pal. You just weren't good enough. So
No.
we're going to go with a guy that was good in 2020. But he sat out for a year.
No.
And he's got allegations.
Yeah.
And we're going to give him $275 million. Or how it was a bunch.
Whatever it was.
Whatever
It's
it
just
was.
Too much is what it was.
He's getting $70 million the next 2 years.
And they can't bench him.
Now, hey, by all means, Browns, keep going.
My franchise could never.
Nope.
Tell you right now, my
Nope.
franchise could never.
That's not how we conduct business.
No, not at all. Gotta love the Browns, man. Gotta love the Browns. How about this week, man? So we had the Broncos beat the Saints. We got the Patriots at the Jags. Who do you got?
Who do I got? Falling asleep.
Sure.
I'm going to sleep.
Who you going with?
New England, okay? Like,
Okay.
I'm going to go Jags. Dude, the Jags suck.
That game's going to suck. The over-under is 41. Take the
Dude,
under.
the terrible
Take the
towel
under.
curse. The terrible towel curse has really hit him. Like Myron Cope wasn't fucking around, okay? You did it in Heinz Field. He is not letting up.
No. Seattle at Atlanta. This should be good.
That's just going to be interesting. That's going to be a fun game. But I think, hold on, Seattle's lost how many games consecutively?
Three.
Like 3? Yeah, I mean,
And
they're
the
in need for a win.
Falcons and Cousins are kind of cooking.
I mean, they're in need for a win. But yeah, Cousins and
Dude,
Atlanta.
the Falcons have won 3 straight.
They're 4-2. They're first in their division. Atlanta, man.
I got to go with Atlanta.
It's kind of hard to not go with Atlanta at the moment.
Tennessee and Buffalo.
Buffalo, are you kidding me? Will Levis, I mean, he's gonna do another meme.
Buffalo. Cincinnati and Cleveland.
Cincinnati, come on.
Cincinnati. Houston and Green Bay.
That's gonna be a fun game.
That's gonna be a banger.
That is the game I'm gonna be tuning in because it was at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every
Yep.
day? Yep.
The over-under
I'm
is
gonna
48.
be tuning into that.
The over-under is 48. I'm taking the over.
See, Houston's 5-1, and Green Bay, where are they 4-2?
Yeah.
I mean, these are two very good and young teams, man. Like bright futures for these guys and their quarterbacks.
If you don't have Jordan Love and CJ Stroud both throwing for 2 touchdowns, go for it. Just a little.
Dude, maybe even 3. Maybe.
I'm trying to get rich, but I'm not trying to.
Listen, just maybe. I mean, but
I'm taking the over.
I'll tell you what. Honestly, I might go Green Bay here because that defense has really been standing out, and they can get turnovers.
This one was tough, man. See, I really like Houston.
It is hard to bet against Houston. They're 5-1. Very talented team. Defense is holding their own as well.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That is tough. Give me Green Bay.
Yeah.
Green Bay is actually the favorite.
Xavier McKinney though. He's been a standout, man. You want to talk about an addition for
He
that?
took the
that
bag.
Packers.
He took the bag and is literally like
Living up to it.
earning it.
Earning
Literally.
it. It's game by game. Like every game he gets an interception.
Miami versus Indianapolis.
What was it? Huntley.
Huntley versus Richardson.
Oh boy, that's going to be a snooze fest. Give me Indianapolis. I mean, I don't see Huntley.
I might take the under for that too.
I really don't see Huntley playing as a factor in this. It's just until Tua comes back, Miami is just trying to get by.
Yeah. Detroit at Minnesota.
Undefeated is Minnesota coming off a bye week, and Detroit coming off a fantastic victory against Dallas.
This is going to be another high-powered game.
Big time. I mean, eventually Minnesota's got to lose, but I mean, they're on a hot streak, even, after the bye.
Give me Detroit.
Is it one of those games where Sam Darnold, showcases?
Bro, Detroit is the underdog.
I mean, it's not hard to see what Minnesota's 5-0, and that defense is legit.
You're not wrong.
That
but
defense
Detroit,
has really been playing good.
But Detroit's offense is just...
I know. Don't get me wrong.
100%.
It is strong. It is heavy. Their rushing attack is so... They got them locked down for at least another 3 years. That is filthy.
They got Dan Skipper playing receiver.
Is he eligible?
Yes.
All right. Honestly, yeah. Let me go Detroit here. They got a lot of momentum. I mean, so does Minnesota, but division rival here right now. I think Dan Campbell's going to want to bite some kneecaps off.
Philadelphia, New York Giants. Philly.
Did you pick Giants? Okay, no.
Philly.
Philly.
They own the Giants.
Yeah, they do.
Vegas and the Rams. Rams. Cup's coming back. Yeah, Rams.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams, what? They're 1-4 right now. They need a win. They need a win heading into short week.
They're going to get an easy one.
Give me the Rams.
Carolina and Washington.
That's actually my lock.
Lock of the week.
That is my lock.
Dude, the over-under for this is 51.5. But the spread for Washington is 9.5. So if you think Washington wins by 9 or more, you cover the spread.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Carolina, I mean, I don't see them putting up much of a fight.
Kansas City versus the San Francisco 49ers.
Super Bowl rematch. I mean, Kansas City.
America's Game of the Week.
Kansas City, I believe they're undefeated as well. San Fran, they've kind of had a slow start to a degree. You know, they won a game, then they lost a game. They won a game, then they lost a game. You know what I mean? San Fran's still loaded with talent. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're probably the biggest target this year has been Jawan Jennings. Kind of crazy.
Give me Kansas City.
Why?
You know why.
Mahomes.
The refs.
Okay, all right.
The NFL's going to do everything they
Let
can
me
to
ask,
keep the Chiefs on top.
Is Taylor Swift going to be at this game?
No.
You sure?
I don't care. Can we not bring that
Come
up
on, it's
every
just a
time?
simple
I
question.
hate every time I look at the Kansas City logo. Everyone thinks of her.
Listen, I don't like it either. It's just a simple question.
Why'd you bring it up?
Because I'm asking a question. Give me Kansas City.
New York and Pittsburgh. Jets and Steelers. Be honest. Be honest.
See, it's tough. It's tough. Like Russ projectedly is starting.
Oh,
and-
Persall is playing. You're right. Wait, Jennings is out?
What?
See, that's how... What? Jawan Jennings is out?
When did he get hurt? When did Jennings get hurt? Hold up.
He is out. Persall's playing.
Ricky
in his first
Parasol
game.
is playing. Okay.
Light him up.
Danny,
That was a poor choice.
why did you?
That was a poor choice of words. Whoops. That was a poor choice of words. I realized it after the fact.
His words, not mine. I do not play a part in what he just said. I don't.
Light him up, Ricky. Light him up. Ricky!
Yeah. What was the game? Oh yeah, Jets and Steelers. See, it's tough. Jets lost 3 straight. They're gonna want to win. It's I don't know. It's just kind of hard to see the Jets lose 4 straight. I don't know why. It just is. Maybe because of the changes they're making and the addition of Adams.
I haven't gone against the Steelers yet, so give me the Steelers. I don't feel great about it, but I think we can still win. I don't care how ugly it is. I want to win.
Yeah, give me Pittsburgh. Give me Pittsburgh.
Baltimore and Tampa Bay.
That's tough. That's a hell of a Monday night game. That's a damn good Monday night game.
Give me the Bucks.
I mean, they blew out. What was it, New Orleans?
Give me
last
the
week?
Bucks. Give me the Bucks. Give me the Bucks. Give me the Bucks.
Yeah, fuck you, Baltimore.
Actually, I like a lot of these teams for the upset. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Screw Baltimore, man. I'm going Tampa Bay.
I like Houston as an upset. I like Denver as the upset. I like Tampa Bay as the Pittsburgh as the upset. I'm just saying, if some of these go in the proper direction, you can walk away with a little bit of dough. Just saying. With a potential cash out option. We'll see. And Los Angeles at Arizona.
Dude,
I don't know, dude. Arizona, man, it seems like one week they want to be competitive. The next week they want to be the Cardinals. Like, do you want to be good? Do you want to be bad? Do you want to be decent? Do you want to be awful? Do you want to be kind of like resilient?
I haven't really paid attention to the Chargers. How have they been, honestly?
They're actually, they have a decent little record.
Outside, I mean, I know they don't have a passing attack. They don't have a true wide receiver one.
They're 3-2.
Or any target at that.
They're 3-2.
As long as they feed the ball to J.K. Dobbins, they'll be fine.
Arizona can't stop the run.
Give me Los Angeles.
Give me LA. Those are our Week 7 picks.
Yes, sir.
How accurate that will be? I mean,
Probably not.
Last week I didn't have it. I don't think I had a good week last week.
Probably not.
I forget. Arizona is consistently inconsistent. That is correct.
Hmm?
They can't make up their minds.
I don't know if it's a head coaching thing. I don't know if it's a Kyler Murray thing.
It's
or
like
maybe it's just an Arizona thing in general.
it's 1 week they'll be very resilient and you have some respect, and then they'll get blown out the next week. I'm like, okay, well, what are you? You good or like?
They're getting
you
Marvin
not?
Harrison back though, right? Because I don't think he played last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they should be getting Marvin Harrison Jr. back.
Connor could have a good game. Always root for
It
my
could be
boy.
a battle of the running backs, really.
Always root for my boy Connor. Connor versus JK. That should be interesting.
Yep.
Who's playing better than Lamar right now? Feelings aside. A lot of people. Baker, Stroud,
Cousins.
Love, Cousins. As of right now, I would put Burrow in there. I think, honestly, most of the Ravens' success has been mostly at the legs of Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry hasn't had a game without a touchdown so far. It's incredible.
Yeah, he's been one hell of a addition. I can't deny that. It's no surprise.
I don't think much of the Ravens' success has been with Lamar, frankly.
Well, here's the thing. Like Lamar doesn't even have to run it as often because he's got a bell cow in Henry.
That's exactly why they picked him up. Now, Zay Flowers is having a good year.
I will say this. Like, when Lamar basically has the game in his hands when he has to run it, I mean, he already showed time and time again what he can do. Now that he doesn't, though, because he got Derrick Henry, I mean, yeah, I mean, like, Henry showcased what he already got. How many?
704 yards.
Holy crap! How many rushing touchdowns?
8.
Oh my lord! You want to talk about?
He's
Pro Bowl.
averaging 117.3 yards a game. Now I'll give Lamar this though. He's limiting the turnovers. I mean that's a massive positive for them. He's hitting Flowers.
He's not hitting Mark Andrews though.
I know.
I got Mark Andrews in fantasy, but hey, I also got Brock Bowers, so it's all good.
Good for you.
But I also picked up Cole Kmet, and Kmet's really getting that chemistry going with Caleb Williams. So honestly, I think I'm contemplating having Mark Andrews on the trade block.
Depends what league we're talking about.
The work league.
You guys want me to break Henry's streak because I broke McCaffrey's last year. All I have to do is bet on him to get a touchdown. Yeah, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
By all means, please do it.
I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you.
Yeah, I mean, this is the king of jinxing over here.
Yeah, I know. I swear to God, man, every time I put money on someone, they don't do anything. But the week I don't, it's like the same thing with fantasy. Like, Ayuk, you've done nothing but one game. You get this big contract and you do nothing.
Listen, bro, I've had that luck with several of my fantasy players.
Ayuk doesn't even have a touchdown.
I did it with Evan Ingram. I have done it with Jackson Smith-Njigba. I have done it with Darnell Mooney. Like, I've done it with several fucking damn players. It's not. It's I can't win. I can't win.
Bro, Ayuk doesn't even have a touchdown this year, which means he's due.
Danny. Well, you know what? Against Kansas City, yeah. I mean, he's really going to have to show up.
Henry for MVP? Honestly, yes. You take Henry off the Ravens team, and they're not as good.
That just shows the level of impact.
Who's the front
Like,
runner?
I'm not even talking about stats, right? I'm talking about level of impact. Like, that's what the MVP award should really be all about. Statistics play a humongous part in getting that award, but so does impact.
Yeah.
The impact is what is what sticks out, really, not just the stats. Henry is of huge impact with Baltimore.
Well, who's the front runner for quarterbacks? It's not Mahomes.
No, there's no quarterback that's
Probably
a front runner.
Stroud. Probably Stroud or Baker.
There's really no
I'm being
front runner
100.
quarterback.
I'm being 100% honest. If there was a quarterback to an MVP, if the season ended right now, it's probably Stroud or Baker. Just being honest.
Again,
there's no other quarterbacks that are blowing up the league right now. Maybe Purdy. Brock Purdy. You can't discredit what Brock Purdy's doing. He doesn't even have his running back one.
No, Jordan Mason's been the stud.
And Brock Purdy has been doing very well for the Niners. Can't discredit that.
Nope. No, you can't.
Sam Darnold? Oh shit.
Imagine saying that just 3 years ago.
Jets fans, look away. Oh man. 11 touchdowns.
You know, when it comes to the Jets, you know, it is very reminiscent when Case Keenum came in.
What's funny is that's kind of true.
Remember, because Teddy Bridgewater suffered that gruesome injury, Case Keenum had to come in and went all the way to the NFC Championship. They had the Minnesota Miracle with Stephon Diggs and everything. Like, it wasn't successful because they didn't get to the Super Bowl, but like it was still a fun season for them.
They have somehow found a way to strike lightning twice in the same place.
I remember, like, when it was determined McCarthy was missing his whole rookie season, And people made memes about Justin Jefferson catching passes from Sam Darnold. Like, even people were questioning, like, is his fantasy value going to drop because of it? Nope. It has not been affected one bit.
Nope. Not at all. That's crazy, man.
That is wild.
It's crazy. I just don't know how long this ride's going to go for the Vikings. I just don't know, man. The Vikings.
I'm kind of waiting for it.
How long can you go with Sam Darnold playing good? You know,
I'm kind of waiting for it.
I don't buy it. And it seems like every year there's at least one of those teams that is undefeated for a certain extent, and you don't know how.
Yeah, we know from experience.
Well, I can't discredit. It's mostly the defense. Ours in our case.
Yeah.
But for the Vikings, Aaron Jones has been a great addition. Jefferson's a beast. Jordan Addison can't stay out of trouble. I mean, Sam Darnold's playing some of the best football ever. It's interesting. This season's already weird, and we're a third removed from the regular season.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff, man.
It is wild.
Crazy stuff. But it is 20-1. It is officially Saturday. So happy Saturday to you guys. It is October 19th. It's the 19th already?
Yeah, we're inching closer to Halloween, bro.
Oh, my God. It's already the 19th.
Month's flying by, bro.
Wow. That's insane. It's the 19th already. With that being said, I think we'll call that a stream, man. We're going to call that the stream for the Steelers versus Jets preview. It was great talking to you guys about the Jets preview, the quarterback situation regarding the Steelers, and Russ being unofficially the starter. We're all projecting him to start, so
Projectedly.
we'll see if Tomlin comes to a legitimate decision publicly about this, but I think we can all anticipate Russ to be the starter. Otherwise, that'll do it, man. Appreciate you guys for joining us again for another edition of the Steelers Culture Podcast, previewing the Steelers versus Jets Sunday Night Football matchup for Week 7. So, at the end of the day, I don't care how you do it. Get it done. Get a win. Keep stacking wins. We need it for a lot of reasons. I don't know what to expect from Russ, but I'm hoping for the best. It's going to be very interesting to see what the offense looks like with Russ in a lot of aspects. The O-line's got to step up. The defense is going to have to have their best game to date. They're going to be challenged. It's not going to be as easy as last week. They're going to have to be on their A game, seriously.
I'm anticipating one hell of a competitive matchup right here. Very heavily defensive, like I stated earlier. But no matter what, do what you got to do to get to 5-2. We got to get to 5-2, man.
Get to 5-2, and I think we'd be sitting very, very nice as we get ready for the Giants after this. But hey, it's Heinz Field, under the lights, Sunday Night Football, primetime, and they're wearing the 70s throwbacks with the gray face masks.
It's going to be fire, dude.
It's going to be fire, and boy, we're going to need them to embody that type of, that vibe to win this game. Let's beat the Jets. Let's go to 5-2. You guys know we'll be live for the game. It's going to be a wild one. It's going to be primetime, and I'm just anticipating something crazy to go down. It's going to be Steelers football, as we know it. As we hate it, but as we have to live with it because we're Steelers fans, ride or die, bleed black and gold till we die. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, here we go, Steelers. Let's get a fucking win, man. I want to win. I want to go 5-2. I want to keep stacking wins, and I frankly just want to. I want to win in Heinz Field. I want to send the Heinz Field crowd.
Yeah, because last time we were in prime time at Heinz Field, it didn't end well. So
No.
we need to rebound on that big time.
No.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be great. But otherwise, man, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Thanks to BetUS Sportsbook and Casino for sponsoring today's live stream. Check them out. Go to betus.com if you guys are looking for a new sportsbook this season. They got a great 150% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150 when signing up at betus.com today. Check them out. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring. Shout out to you guys for joining us as always. And here we go, Steelers. And I suppose we can unofficially say,
let's ride.
Here we go, man.
Not yet. We got to wait till Sunday, dude.
Oh, my God. Russell
you already
Wilson.
spoiled. Well, it's Pickens spoiled it.
Pickens spoiled it.
Pickens spoiled it.
It's not our fault. Pickens spoiled it.
Yeah.
See you guys later, man. Here we go, Steelers. See you guys Sunday.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys later.
Peace!